Hey everyone, time for another coaches recap video to kind of wrap up the last few weeks and also talk about this weekend and what's coming up after this weekend. So the coaching points for this video is the new facility. I want to give you a quick video tour of the facility because I know that I don't know if any of you have seen it yet in person, so we're going to do that. And then want to recap the Wichita State tournament, talk about what we did well and what some lessons learned were. Want to go over the testing numbers that we had from Tuesday and what those mean. Also want to talk about our last tournament this weekend and then do a little preview for this coming fall and beyond after that. So let's go ahead and dive into the new facility video tour. So here's kind of the big picture, the quick overview. The overall view, as I walk over to the corner here, you guys can see we have this bullpen area, 2-3 mounds if we need it. And then over here we got our big fielding space, nice high ceilings so we can throw and even do a little bit of outfield work. So this is the nice big fielding area. Here's the view from over here. We got this, might be hard to see on the video, we got this net hanging down on the wall here because that can actually allow us to do some arm strength and some long toss type throwing into the wall where you just kind of throw it and let the ball go at a long toss type trajectory and be able to get some arm strengthening stuff indoors. And then over here, we have our tunnels. So we have 4 tunnels and all of these tunnels actually retract. So if we want or need to, we can open up the entire space so we can get full length pop times. We can do full length ground balls from short to first or first to second. We can do some base running stuff. And yeah, this is the facility. So it's obviously a big, real nice space. We got all the equipment we could want, little pitching machine, plenty of L screens. And yeah, it's going to be an awesome tool for us to work out and get better. And then last thing I wanted to show you is we got a little conference room here where we can do similar to Diamond B setup where we can sync up with an Apple TV, got a whiteboard, table, and plenty of room for us to sit down and have team meetings, do video breakdowns, talk through different character lessons and stuff like that. So that's a quick view of the facility, and I'm excited for you guys to all get here in person here soon. All right, moving on to our Wichita State tournament. I think it's fair to say that this is probably our best tournament yet overall. We displayed a pretty impressive amount of offensive firepower. Scoring 50 runs in 4 games was very impressive. We earned the overall #1 seed in the entire tournament, so that was well earned and well deserved. And I don't have a whole lot to say about the offense other than stating the obvious and the simple fact that we competed well and we executed well. We won the close game or closer game and when we beat that McInside's team, but the fact that the lowest amount of runs we scored all the way through the semifinal game was 7 runs. That's a pretty special performing offense. And so the guys did really well, just punishing pitching that we could handle and grinding it out against a few of the better arms that we saw and just getting the job done offensively. Our pitching and defense was good. We were able to, conserve some pitching and also, save some guys for Sunday. So that helped because our pitching did really, really well. And, just about everybody on the roster that can pitch did. And so that was awesome to see that our pitching was good. Our defense was good. I think we made 1 error, maybe 2 errors, but our defense continues to play at a high level. And so not a whole lot to add to the pitching and defense piece other than the fact that that's been one of our strengths and we continued to display that last weekend. I was really happy with the way that we showed a lot of grit in the semifinal game. So we made some mistakes early on in that game that kind of let that team stay around, and we left a lot of runners on base. So I think we could have potentially separated or blown the game open, but we didn't. We made some mistakes, and we were able to really grind through some legitimate adversity. So we worked our way. We had the lead. We gave up the lead late. We came back and immediately tied it back up in the bottom of the seventh, and all of this was happening while we were all wondering, is Gannon going to be okay? And obviously, we're super thankful that Gannon just got a little overheated and a little dehydrated, and it wasn't more than that. But at the time, our guys were still playing at a high level, trying to win a baseball game, while everybody, all of us, were very concerned about our teammate. And I thought that showed a real tremendous amount of focus and determination in the midst of some very unusual adversity. And I was also just happy that we didn't let the mistakes that we made early in the game, whether it's on the base paths or errors in the field or too many freebies, whatever it was, we didn't let that continue into the rest of the game and take us out of the game. So I did want to talk about how to perform under pressure, because it did seem like, especially early in the game, that we were a little tight and we were making some very uncharacteristic mistakes. And it was very clear that everybody in our team wanted to win that tournament. We showed up as the 1 seed. We were there to take care of business, but it also felt like we were a little tight and a little nervous in the semifinal game, which I think led to some of those uncharacteristic mistakes. And when it comes to performing under pressure, there's a few things that I wanted to share and remind you guys about. The first thing is, when the pressure's on, you're going to fall back on your preparation. You're not going to, when you get nervous, when your heart's racing, when the game is on the line and it's a really big, important game, you're not going to be anyone other than who you've prepared to be. And so that's really important. There's a quote that we've shared with the guys in the past this season. I want to bring that up again. And that quote is simply, you become what you practice. So if you're focused and intentional with your practice reps, and you're treating the fundamentals seriously, and every time you field a ground ball, every time you take a swing, every time you throw a pitch, whatever you're doing, if you're doing that with focus and intention when the pressure's not on, then that's going to set you up for success when the pressure is on. But if we aren't practicing well, if we have bad practice habits, and then the pressure gets on, well, you become what you practice, and you're always going to fall back to your preparation. You're not really going to rise to the occasion. When you see like clutch players in any sport that just seem like they're immune to nerves and pressure and high stakes situations, really what that comes down to is they've done the preparation. They know that they've put in the work, and so they're able to focus on the process of trying to perform at a high level, and they're not getting lost in all of the drama. We talked about the mental side and what drama is, and drama is just all of those things you can't control. You can't control your opponent. You can't control the weather. You can't control the results. But if you start focusing on those things, then your brain's going to get clouded and your body's going to get tight, and you're not going to be able to perform in a high pressure, high stakes situation. But if you're focused on your process and the things you can control, which is just staying locked in mentally and focusing on executing whatever you're doing, whether it's pitching, defense, hitting, or anything, that's how you're going to be able to not nervous. I think that if you care about the game and it's a big game, your heart should be racing a little bit faster, but you're going to be able to stabilize that and not let the things speed up on you, and you're going to be able to continue to execute because you're not focused on the external stuff. You're focused on your process, which should be the same day in and day out, whether it's practice, a pool play game, or a championship game. And then once we got to the championship game, it was obvious, 3 hours in 115-degree heat on the turf. That's gonna put a lot of tax on any player's body, and it was very obvious that we were just gassed. We literally gave it everything we had in the semis and got a really hard-fought win, and then our tanks were just empty in the championship game. I think that that team that we lost to did not get even close to our best bullet. I think our best bullet more than takes care of business against them, because we still only lost 6-3. But bottom line is they earned in that championship game, and we didn't have enough left in the gas tank to play well enough to finish it and win that championship game. But we all know how well we played all weekend. We all know the context of leaving everything on the field and then having to drive 20 minutes to the next field and try to regroup mentally and physically and go play right away. And it wasn't an ideal situation, but I thought for the most part the guys still gave it their best. We just didn't have much left in the tank. And so when I was thinking about the championship game, it brought up a really, I think, important lesson for us as we're thinking about our baseball careers now as 15-year-olds and about to be entering into our 16U season. And that's simply the area of your physical fitness. Because if anybody on this team, which I know all of us are serious about playing at a high level and continuing after high school, if anybody wants to perform at the next level, your physical fitness is going to be one of the biggest determining factors in how far and how long you get to play this game. So by physical fitness, I mean bigger, faster, stronger, and your conditioning. And just for some context, every single baseball game at the college level is going to be 9 innings, and it's going to be, those games take forever. They're always 3, sometimes even 4 hours long. So imagine that semifinal game, and then imagine doing that type of game 56 times in a season and in a 3 to 4 month span. And you get to see how important your physical conditioning and your strength and your overall fitness becomes. So we didn't do anything wrong by any stretch of the imagination, but it did bring up a good point that I wanted to mention and will continue to mention with all of our players is if you want to maximize your potential now and if you want to play at the next level, then the attention you're paying to your body and the work you're putting in on your body outside of baseball to get bigger, faster, stronger, and get in better shape, that's going to be an absolutely enormous determining factor in what types of opportunities you get at the high school varsity level and at the collegiate level. So I just thought that was, a valuable lesson that we can take with us as we continue to learn and grow and develop over the next year and beyond. So I'm gonna post the testing numbers here. I can send you this picture if you'd like. So go ahead and pause the video if you want to, take the time to look at the testing numbers. But couple important things. Remember that these testing numbers are only a benchmark. Obviously, we have guys that threw a lot of pitches the weekend before, and so not everybody's arm was fresh. And these aren't even the numbers you're going to be sending to college coaches, within the next year. This is just a benchmark, mainly for me as a coach and for Jordan and for any of our other staff, so that we know where are we at right now in July. End of July, and that will help us evaluate what we're doing in the future. Because, to be honest with you, these numbers better change. There's no excuse for these numbers to stay the same, whether it's getting quicker or faster, or whether it's improving our bat speed and our exit velocity, or our throwing velocity. Because if we are doing our jobs right as coaches, if we're giving you the right steps to take to get better, and if players, you guys are doing what you're supposed to do and putting in the work, then these numbers should look drastically different a year from now, and they should start changing, pretty quick this fall and winter. So just remember, they're a benchmark for some objective feedback, and so we know where we're starting, and these numbers better change if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing as coaches, providing you with the information, and as players, you guys putting in the work it takes to get better. Just as an FYI, we're going to do more testing and videos this fall. So again, if you didn't have your best day on Tuesday, don't worry. We're going to continue to test and video throughout the fall and the winter and then next year. Going into our final tournament, I just wanted to mention that we want to make sure that we are finishing strong. We're coming off of a really, positive emotional experience in Wichita State, but our expectation is that we're still going to continue to play well. So it's our last tournament. It's in Kansas City, and we are expecting to continue to play at the high level that we've been playing really the last month or so, especially. This format, we need to earn pool play, so we're going to make pitching and lineup decisions accordingly in the first 4 games because we're only guaranteed those 4. And if I looked at the bracket correctly, there's only, I think, 4 teams maybe 6 that make it to pool play. So we need to make sure we earn that and are focused on winning the game in front of us and then earning our way to bracket play. And then we will make lineups and pitching decisions based on, what we have available after we earn that and get the opportunity to play on Sunday. And the one thing I wanted to mention too is, this is a quality, character and mental fortitude test for us, because we are coming off a very positive, emotional, long weekend. And this is the perfect opportunity for a letdown. And I'm going to challenge our team and expect our team to have the mental toughness to avoid any sort of letdown. There's no excuse for us to take a step backwards in terms of how we've been playing, how we've been focused, and how we've been performing. So the goal is to, finish the season playing as well, if not better, than we have been the last few weeks. Thinking ahead to next steps for 2019 and 2020, we'll talk a lot more about this once we get to the tournament, but I wanted to mention a few things. So, fall ball decisions, I'm going to ask for your fall ball decisions next week so we get a feel for who's available for fall ball and who's not. One thing that is important to know for fall ball is it's going to be a 6-week season. We'll start after Labor Day. We'll practice once a week. We're going to play, weather permitting, 12 games, and we'll use a combination of tournaments and or scrimmages to hit that number. And one thing to know too is if you play football, if you're just not sure what you want to do with fall ball, just understand that we have quite a few actually options for fall ball only guys. These are players who play for their high school coaches and their high school programs during the summer, and so we know the programs and the coaches. And so they already have a team for the summer, but their high school coaches cannot coach them by rule in the fall. So we have a good handful of guys that can supplement and fill in for a fall ball only season. So that really takes the pressure off of our guys if there's anybody that, whether it's another sport or whatever it may be, if you're thinking that fall ball, you might not be able to be there all the time, you want to do like half of it or even not at all, just understand that we have some guys that will be able to fill in for fall ball only. And also, don't be alarmed if we go to the fall ball season and there's like 20 players on our team snap. Don't worry, we're not going to carry a roster of 20. I'm just going to add those players to our team snap for fall ball communication, and then we'll remove them once the fall ball season is over. So I just want to make sure you guys were clear on that and understood when you're thinking about fall ball. I think if you're available and you want to play fall ball, it can be a very important and developmental experience. But also, if you're a football player or have anything else going on, just understand that it's certainly not a requirement, because I understand that there's going to be other activities and other things going on. So last thing I'll mention is I'll be in touch again, but we'll be looking for some deposits towards fall ball sometime early to mid next month, and I'll be in touch with those details, and just wanted to mention that. So that wraps us up for the coaches recap. Please make sure that all the players and hopefully all the parents watch this before the game tomorrow.